Hey everyone, checking in on the markets and oil and natural gas. We're going to keep it short and sweet because the bulls just got the follow through for continuation. Higher highs now hit on the daily time frame. Here after hours, we just got a bull spike up, so we're trading even 30 cents above the high of the day on SPY, and there's a lack of resistance where we currently stand. Next level is 278.85. So I personally stopped out of my long-term hedge SPXS at a small loss because we had a gap up open today, but not a big loss. So I'm going to reassess the situation and patiently wait. And if we were to head up in the next couple days to the upper 270s, I will look to begin scaling back in to that hedge position. But right now, the bulls are in full control. Anything above 267.83 keeps the daily higher low uptrend intact. And just keep it simple. As long as the higher lows are maintained, I know a lot of people are watching the 200-day moving average resistance, and it's worth keeping an eye on, but I don't care if the price closes above or below that moving average. What I care about is whether or not we maintain daily higher lows, because when the higher lows are lost, that tells us weekly consolidation is coming. We know it's inevitable at some point, unless we run, for 4 months in a row straight to all-time highs, which is not going to happen, but we're on week number 8 in a row with a higher low every single week. And the low of this week is down at 270.03. And that is down at the low of yesterday. So that's not the higher low on the daily chart, but that would be an indication. Whenever I see a pattern like that, where we see a bunch of candlesticks in a row with either clear lower highs on a pullback or clear higher lows every single candlestick, breaking that pattern certainly captures our attention. So we have an hourly uptrend to be watching. The bull's in full control as long as the hourly higher lows are maintained. SPY formed a higher low here. You can see the strength in after hours. We even got up over 275, but consolidating a little bit now. But hourly higher low is 273.90. IWM led the way with a gap up open above resistance first thing, increasing bull volume on the daily time frame. And next resistance is 154.13 and 154.48. And that's the weekly lower high resistance level. So we're heading up to that point. If we look on the weekly here, that's the key resistance and the last bounce attempt. If we look on SPY on the weekly, that last lower high is up at 280.40, and QQQ has not broken its daily resistance yet. We had a bit of a double top at 171.37 and 171.14, so the bulls have to break that level tomorrow. They're above it right now after hours. We'll see if that keeps up. But the weekly resistance is right there, 173.31. Bulls have to break this level to break the downtrend on the weekly time frame. Lower highs every bounce attempt, and that would remain intact if we cannot break these levels on these weekly time frames. But again, the bottom line, to keep it nice and simple, if daily higher lows are maintained, the bulls keep full control. So do not fight this trend too much in terms of looking bearish. You can wait for the daily uptrend to be lost, lose the higher low pattern, and then we'll start to see some bearish action. XLF with a complete recovery back to resistance of 26.23. We did double top at that level, but that double top won't mean much unless we break 25.34 in the next couple days. Bulls are still favored here as well. We had brief consolidation, a bull flag on the weekly time frame, and the weekly lower high here is 27.47. That's still a ways away. The bulls have a lot of work to do to get back to that level, but a very healthy brief pullback and now right back to resistance. We'll see if the bulls are able to break that level tomorrow. VIX dropped down and broke the low of the pullback at this point, 15.04. We dropped down to 14.95. Anything on the daily under 17.89 will now be a lower high. Didn't get much follow through for the bears at all at this point, so we'll see if the bulls can hold on to this support again tomorrow and continue to try and close above 15. But that's really all the bulls have going for them, which is not much. A line of defense at 15 psychological support, and we're going to have to see a shift in not only the hourly downtrend, but the clear daily downtrend for this bounce to get any momentum. The weekly chart has just given the entire move back over the last 2 months. Oil, bulls bounced, but we're watching the potential of the head and shoulders pattern. So left shoulder, not a good left shoulder. Left shoulder, head. If this is a right shoulder and we're going to top out without being able to break 55.72, and then we roll over and break this double bottom of 51.31 and 51.22, that will be a clear loss of the uptrend, and then we will look for the weekly consolidation to be a bit more significant. Right now, it's a potential bull flag on the weekly as well. We've seen bull flags with very brief consolidation, and if we can follow through and get back over 55.72, we're going to look for SPY to make its way towards 280. Natural gas, potentially still a bear flag on the daily time frame at this point. The 4-hour is tightening up. We have our resistance, our higher low of support on the 4-hour time frame, lower high, and if we see a break of 265, that's going to increase the odds significantly that the daily is a bear flag. And if we break 2733, that will change the 4-hour trend in favor of the bulls, and that will decrease the odds that it is a bear flag. But I'm being very patient because this bounce is not really proving a whole lot of strength for me right now in natural gas, and the inventory report on Thursday will be something to be watching. That will probably tell us, is this a bear flag, or can the bulls follow through with the bounce and negate that bear flag? So bulls are still extremely strong. The tech sector, QQQ, has not followed through and broken its resistance just yet, but it's likely to do so. Financial sector had a lot of the strength today, but it did double top at 26.23. So both QQQ and XLF have a little bit of a double top to watch on the daily time frame. SPY certainly does not. Odds favor continuation for these bulls to break those resistances in those two sectors tomorrow. And again, SPY can now pull back and has a lot of space to work with because anything above 267.83 is just a higher low. So that means we can pull back about 3% before we get to a key support level on the daily time frame. The bull move today was a result of word that we're going to get an agreement from both sides of the Democrat and Republican parties to avoid a shutdown. Keep in mind that the market is now pricing that in. So if for some reason that was not the case and we were to shut down again, we would probably see a bearish market reaction because the market would have incorrectly priced in the fact that we are not going to shut down. So that's something to be keeping an eye out for in the short term. And other than that, bulls have full control. So try not to fight this trend. You can easily wait for the daily uptrend to be lost and then look bearish. You don't nail the top. You give up a little bit of profit, but you eliminate a ton of risk as opposed to trying to be a hero here, standing in front of these raging bulls. So I appreciate you watching. We'll check back in tomorrow and see if XLF and QQQ can follow through with their resistance breaks. Have a good rest of your night.